Alright, I'm tired of waiting for this game to get updated. Bonelab hasn't gotten a single feature or an update for over a year, and despite what Mini Battle Lop would have you believe, we don't need a half-assed update if we already are a year in. I love you, Mini. Please don't eat me. But if we have to accept that Brandon J. Latch isn't going to update Bonelab in a reasonable amount of time, at least give us Video Game High School Season 4, bro. I know you don't own the IP, but please just ask for it. Let's make the best out of this situation by being a basic bitch and showcase some Bonelab mods that keep me playing the game that Stress Level 0 wouldn't believe. Ripley's Believe It or Not. Alex Noel told me that Stress Level 0 is in charge of Half-Life 3. Don't believe me? You probably should.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
My favorite mod for Bonelab is the super affordable phone plans that you could save hundreds on your phone bill while also giving you the same or more reliable connection while you're out and about. Never heard of it? Well, you must not have heard about my brand partner, Mint Mobile, and my father-in-law, Ryan Reynolds, who legally is not my father-in-law. I don't know the legality of that. In 15 minutes, Mint Mobile can not only have you saving on your phone plan, but also gives you that same reliability as Big Wireless that loves to charge more for less features. Don't be duped. Go to trymintmobile.com/view in the description below and start saving within just 15 minutes. Wowee, I've never heard of Bonelab or its mods. Dear viewing, what is Fusion or Labworks? I got dropped on the head of it. We're just gonna get these out of the way in case you haven't tried literally any Bonelab mods or haven't kept up to date with Bonelab modding since it came out. The time is now. If you had one shot or one opportunity to cease everything you ever wanted, would you talk about Bonelab? Labworks is the entirety of Boneworks inside of Bonelab. The mod everyone called was definitely getting made is basically already done being made. Last I checked, they were only missing a few of the end levels, but realistically, you're not missing anything. The final level of Boneworks wasn't that good anyways. Museum Gang, rise up. This advertisement is sponsored by the Mole. If you felt like Bonelab didn't have enough content for you, this one mod fills that gap like Tony Boyo fills mine. Fills the gap in my heart. Love you, bud. Speaking of your homies filling your gaps, Fusion is the definitive way to play Bonelab with friends. If you're wanting to throw your friends around in a physics playground, do some not able to make a Discord account things to your friend's avatar, or even play custom levels like Labworks so you cannot use that one entanglement mod. I'm looking at Vexy on this one. Use Labworks, bozo. I don't know why you're trying to get me to play Bonelab. These two combined together drastically change the Bonelab experience. Fusion does tend to be a little laggy when you have more and more players, but if you're not a silly questie stuck on the Quest 2, you shouldn't have too many problems. I honestly wouldn't even consider picking up Bonelab without the ability to install these two mods. They're just that much of a game changer. It's an instant install for me and anyone looking at Bonelab mods. Labworks and Fusion could easily get you to that 100 hours of playtime alone in Bonelab. Just keep in mind that these mods aren't perfect with performance, so take that as you will. If you were to take any of the mods in this video, take these two. I'm not your dad. Do what you like. Who am I? Joe Bartolozzi? Hello? Hello? The absolute best custom map for Boneworks is also available for Bonelab. Playground is by far the best sandbox available for both games, and now you can play this map completely wirelessly without a PC. Playground has every weapon available, every NPC available, has the map from Tuscany, the playground from Basement. It's seriously the best way to test out features, mods, NPCs, and just to overall fuck around inside of Bonelab. And again, with Fusion, you can play with friends and just run around in the same house you might be playing in anyways. My favorite area of this map is definitely the large ramp located almost immediately in front of you when you first load in. Absolutely just yeeting a flimsy Ford down this massive ramp is super addicting after you get done WWE wrestling a nobody off the roof of Tuscany. And yes, if you saw Joe Salt's mod showcase, which you almost definitely have, yes, this is the same map he showcased there. I love you, Joe Salt. Please make more McDonald's jokes in my video. But brother and Christopher Christ, we're not even close to done talking about. Welcome back to VR Chat Dweeb Showcase, where I talk about avatars in Bonelab like a dweeb in VR Chat. If I made a video on just Bonelab avatars, I'm 1000% confident I would be in my 30s and we might have the next Bonelab update. Not too sure on that one, but definitely the 30s thing. Give it like 8 years. I'm having an existential crisis. But I would like to focus on two packs specifically from very different games in very different genres, two of which if you watch these videos a lot, you might realize why I like these avatars so much. And those two being the Red Dead 2 avatars and the Doom avatars. These two packs give plenty of playtime in Bonelab purely just because of how ridiculous they are. The Doom avatars, especially given their stats, just spawning in a bunch of nobodies is the funnest shit in the world in Bonelab. 10 out of 10 would download these avatars again, but ring ring 2004 is called. Half-Life 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. Yes, I was 2 when it came out, but that doesn't matter. I took the time and played it, and I would play it again and again. But now, Half-Life 2 in Bonelab, it's happening, guys. This is it. Bonelab Half-Life 2 is so immersive to play, it's an understatement just to say it's immersive. Yes, there's the Half-Life 2 VR mod, and while that's actually a very good VR mod, putting Half-Life 2 in Marrow is far better than Source because because like you know, you can play Bonelab wirelessly, and the physics engine was actually made for VR. As of right now, this is just canals. It's a very good map to start with, but I would love to see the full game brought to life inside of Bonelab, given that Valve doesn't ban hammer anyone who tries to recreate their games with mods in other games. Gabe, what happened? You used to be cool. There are other Valve-made games inside of Bonelab, most notably the Portal mods that have you use an actual portal gun inside of the game, inside of some of the test chambers. But if you get motion sick in VR, this will have you projectile vomiting on the Overlords over on Hacker. Lightning around because I didn't know what else to put here, and these don't have enough content to fill a page in Google Docs, but they're cool mods anyways. Lightning around. To clarify, this first mod is only available on PC. There are alternatives that I just haven't tried on Quest. The GoPro mod is by far my favorite way to make content for Bonelab. It's easy to set up and attach to stuff, easy to control, and most importantly, just get some super cool shots with it. The Ready or Not weapon pack brings the weapons from Ready or Not into Bonelab. I haven't played the original. It's been eyeing me down on Steam for the longest time, but using the weapons here compared to Bonelab's vanilla guns is a night and day difference in how powerful these guns feel. And last but not least, buff forward. Need I say buff forward? It's buff forward. All right, guys. See you next, dude.
But wait, there's more.
To be honest, this might be my favorite Bonelab mod of all time. Just to be clear, this is simply just a port of the David Szymanski game ported into Bonelab. There is no new features, no new game mechanics, just a good game ported into Bonelab. That doesn't mean that this isn't the best way to play Iron Lung now. This could quite honestly serve as its own video, but more or less you're stuck in this submarine with no real view on the outside world, aside from the camera that has less FPS than playing a game with RTX on. And you're capturing photos of key points on a given map. Also, you're on the moon that has blood on it. Look, I'm not pyrocynical. All right, just go watch this video on it if you want lore stuff or inflation kinks. All right, love you, Nine. But despite this game being a flat screen game modded into a VR game, this works surprisingly well, giving you full range of the albeit limited ship. This actually works considering you can pace around the ship and feel like an actual person rather than a professional Valorant player. It gives you that same sense of secure horror, I don't know what else to call it, but those games where there's not really a jump scare or eerie sound effect playing to mentally prepare you for what happens next. But because of that, when it does eventually happen, it almost feels more frightening because you're given that sense of security before it all goes wrong. And I know I just uploaded this, but it's the same sense that Lethal Company gives off as well. Just that feeling of not knowing what's really going to happen next while also knowing you've been driving at a 75-degree angle for the past 10 minutes gives you that sense of security while also being the same feeling of something should definitely be happening here is the entire reason to play Iron Lung. Even if you play the original Iron Lung, playing it in VR is just so weird but also really fun at the same time. I honestly haven't felt immersion like that in a very long time, and I keep hopping back in because I keep slamming into walls and the ship breaks. All right, David Szymanski, I'm tired of your shit. Make an official Iron Lung VR. Dude, there's so many mods I could talk about in this video. It could be over an hour long. Don't believe me? Go check out Joe Salt. Point proven. Dude's been out here doing this for a while. Thank you to our mega rich patrons, FunLol55, Retro, Tor Willem, Wes, Cammy, and Only Mint. Modding Bonelab seems easy enough. I'm going to create a mod in Bonelab that has you playing the finals because Jesus fucking Christ. Love you, Ryan.